Hello everyone, welcome back again. So today it's gonna be a more interesting video. Recently I've been receiving like questions from people, whether it be like the Wizard Discord or just my friends that I made along the way. They've been asking like what's the best gear for like level 170 or when you get there, and that's what I'm gonna be discussing about today. So first thing I want to start off with is your robe. So this is all going to be for Storm just because I'm a Storm Wizard. I already know like all the Storm names and stuff, so I'm just going to base it off of that, but you can always just look up your own class stuff. So for starting with the robe, I'm going to say you can do the Forbidden Library robe. It's considered the best PvE robe. It's mostly just because of this 32 damage right here. So if you compare it to the other option that you have, which is like the Reaver robe or the Avatar robe, depending on which one you want to farm for, this has 28 damage and 7% pit chance. That's also a really big factor. If you're running all the other sets, uh, Avatar and Reaver will bring you to like 99% golden pip chance, and then this will bring you to 101 just because of those two extra. And it also just has more resist. However, it has one more resist, but you do lose two pierce on the Forbidden Library robe. And the item card is not as good, but I think for storms, you mostly just want to be looking at that plus 32% per, percentage of bonus damage compared to the 28 that you would get on your Reaver robe. That one's for personal pick. However, I would always run the Reaver robe, or sorry, not Reaver, Forbidden Library robe on any of the hitter classes. And then for every other class, that's your pick on which one you want to do. The Forbidden Library is very easy to farm. You just have to find someone that's willing to give you the dungeon. And then once you find like three people, you don't even need four. Very basic to run through. I can make a guide if you'd like. The next piece is the Athame, the ring, and the amulets. So for all of these, I'm gonna recommend that you farm them through their Walaroo bosses. I know that there is like all of these have an alternative, whether it be Reaver or Avatar. I'm going off of what I would recommend, and I think for these three pieces, I think the Walaroo is a lot easier for this. You just have to do the Valencian naval fleet, which is just spamming three your spear or elemental blades on the last person. The fight basically does itself. Here you can see all the stats. This is insane amount of damage. Um, for the ring, you can get it from Freddy Croker, also a relatively easy fight. These are the stats. They're also just really good, and then the jewels are also insane. The amulet, that honestly, there are better alternatives, but they're all locked behind packs. The other alternatives, what they mostly give you is like more resist. I know Storm can get like up to 8% resist if you get like the Fairy Kai pack rather than the Waller or Avatar amulet that gives 5% resistance. But other than that, that's mostly the Storm Blade that this amulet gives is really good as well. And then I think that's the only piece that gives you a Storm Blade. And then moving on to your boots and your hat, which are like crucial keys because they're armor pieces. For the boots, I actually recommend doing Loom Knight. Keep in mind, this is only if you don't have a good group to run Malice with. If you have a good group that knows how to run Malice and you can do it consistently, I would do Malice just because it's just you have a higher chance of hitting your piece before you actually need to craft it. And I think personally for me, I think getting Dream Water is a lot easier than getting Moon Dust because Moon Dust you need like 80 of. Dream Water, I think you need like 35 to craft these pieces. And you need to kill a lot more bosses in Selenopolis compared to if you were to just do Malice. I think Malice is like 15 times altogether to craft your robe, boots, helmet, and wand. You get 4 for 1 just killing Malice. While Selenopolis, you have to kill each individual boss for each separate piece. Also, the boots are the item card on the boots from Selenopolis are not the greatest unless you're playing like unless you're buffing like a myth hitter. You get Spirit Blade, which is unfortunate. And then moving on, I misclicked earlier the helmet. You get this from doing Konsu, I think 30 times. Yeah, Konsu's 30 times. It's a relatively easy fight. It's just a cheat boss that transmorphs you into like a different form. I think this one, I think it's worth more than Malice just because the balance blade is insane. Keep in mind, it's not just only for your school. This can be used on anyone for any hit, so I think it's really worth it. But for these two, the stats are the exact same as Walaroo. Everything previously as well is the same, whether it be from Walaroo or Selenopolis. They both get the exact same stats. And then for the wand, I actually you can farm this. It's the Avatar's Chakram of Vengeance. This the Walaroo version is dropped from Malice, so if you're already farming Malice, you already have 4 of the pieces done once you hit 15 kills on Malice. This one is from Taking Tree. I don't remember the fight because I never did it. However, there is an alternative, which is the Fairy Kai Umbrella, which is actually what I have, and I will show you that right now. Comparing it to the farmable pieces, this one is pack specific only. And then the main difference between this and the boomerang that's dropped from for free to plays is I think yeah you get 1% more pierce, and then you also get 5 universal pierce on the wands. You get 9% school pierce. So if you're dual schooling, that 5% pierce universal, and then the 5% class pierce is better. And then actually on the Fairy Kai umbrella, you get shadow rating, and then on the boomerang, you only get pip conversion, which I think is just not worth it at all. What just happened? Okay, anyways, yeah, I don't know what just happened there, but yeah. So I think overall this is just the better alternative for any class, just because pip conversion isn't as important, and that shadow rating can make the difference on whether you hit or not. And then I'm just gonna go through my pieces, which should be the exact same pieces. You can ignore my jewels. So there's the Avatar's hat, and then here's the Forbidden Library robe, Avatar boots. This is the Fairy Kai wand, Reaver a Thame, Reaver amulet, Reaver ring, and then for the deck, I have both Walaroo and Selenopolis. Honestly, I hit all the decks just questing through normally or just farming other pieces because the deck always drops from other pieces that you're farming for, so you'll probably hit them no matter what. If you don't hit them during your farm, you can always just refarm the boss. They should be relatively easy. And then honestly, by the time you hit the pieces that you specifically want from that boss, you'll be able to craft the deck. And then this is my pet. I'm only showing you because I'm about to show my stats, so it might be slightly different. Honestly, here I can unequip my pet. I have 200 damage flat, 39 accuracy, 33% resist all around, 49 armor piercing, and then 101 golden pip chance. And then if I put my pet back on, it should be... that's the wrong one. Okay, yeah, so you want to aim for like, I think, yeah, 235 is soft damage cap. So you want to be just around 235. You can be okay a little lower. And then you usually want around 40 to 50% armor piercing. You can go a little higher if you really want, but you're going to be trading off some of that damage. As Storm, you probably just want to max out your damage. And yeah, that's basically all the level 170 gear for Storm at least. All of this can be applied to other classes. It's just going to have a different name. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.